What's up, everybody? I'm Michael, who will take you along this week's journey on Culture Mosaic. First, we'll discover the exotic ways of transforming simple objects into distinctive pieces of art. Later on, our very own Thuy Zeng sits down with the director of Hollywood blockbuster Kong Skull Island as he revisits shooting locations in Vietnam. Then we'll join the Harry Potter fans in their celebrations of the 20 years of the magical world of witchcraft and wizardry. So brace yourselves, for we are going to take off. Vietnamese artists add artistic value to simple objects. Then let's meet Kong director and discover his desire for promoting Vietnamese tourism. Vietnamese fans celebrate 20 years of Harry Potter. The Way Station, directed by Hồng Anh in her directional debut, has just won the Best Film Award at the ASEAN International Film Festival and Awards, otherwise called IFA Awards 2017 in Malaysia. The film also won Best Actor for Phạm Hồng Phước and Best Director of Photography for Lee Taizong. It was nominated in 8 key categories, including Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor and Best Screenplay. The Way Station was adapted from Đỗ Phước Tiến story titled That Was in Ngụ Cư, which means the island of aliens, which was written in 1992. Famed writer Nguyễn Quang Lập wrote the screenplay in 1996. The film takes audiences through the lives of people from around the country who gather in a little village by the sea. It depicts the confusion and uncertainty of their journeys in finding happiness and meaning of life. Khánh Ly is French Vietnamese. She was the winner of the French Masterchef in 2015 and was the second Vietnamese-born person to win a Masterchef competition besides Christine Ha. Born and raised in France, Khánh Ly stood out for her combination between Eastern and Western elements. She recently had the chance to meet and inspire many young Vietnamese with their passions for cooking. Let's meet her in the following report.
Who is the winner of French Masterchef 2015? The winner is Khánh Ly.
Being a
master chef somehow changes my life. I am now a chef. I only cook, not doing anything else. I was invited to the French embassy in Vietnam also because of this. In France, I forgot that I won Master Chef as I have to work really hard. I was reminded about that in Vietnam, which makes me so happy.
Khánh Ly was born in France in 1991. She got a passion for cooking from her parents. After winning MasterChef in France back in 2015, she is now a chef and an advisor for many restaurants. She received invitations to often travel abroad. Her first trip to Vietnam was 3 years ago.
Ça fait 3 ans déjà, ça me commence à me manquer.
I used to want to have more chances to visit Vietnam. It's 3 years since my first trip to Vietnam and I started to miss Vietnam, especially Hanoi, where my mother was born. I was so moved when visiting Hanoi. I was born and raised in France, but I have heard everything about Vietnam. But when visiting the country, everything is completely different from what I imagined. I cried a lot when meeting my families in Ho Chi Minh City. I now know about the very big family in Vietnam, as well as the culture and spirit of the country.
She has recently returned to Vietnam for the Taste of France series of events. Here, she showed Vietnamese students how to cook French dishes.
Tôi cảm thấy là mình được truyền cảm hứng rất là nhiều, tại vì Khánh Ly là một chị rất là thân thiện và hướng dẫn rất là tận tình với các bạn, thì mình cũng rút ra được nhiều kinh nghiệm cho bản thân.
Each time returning to Vietnam, Khánh Ly has new inspirations to create new dishes. She will return to Vietnam in the future and is considering opening a restaurant in Vietnam.
The city of Hue hosted a parade to celebrate the 2561st Vesak Day on Monday. This is considered one of the biggest holidays for Buddhist disciples all across Vietnam. This year's festivities featured 32 holy floats. Each of them was intricately decorated with Buddhist teachings. Other activities also took place on the site, such as the Lotus Lantern Festival on the Perfume River, the Buddha statue bathing ritual, and a ceremony praying for national prosperity and peace. This was an opportunity to promote Buddhist beliefs and philosophy about righteousness and the path to serenity. Visitors to Nguyễn Huệ Pedestrian Street in downtown Ho Chi Minh City will be treated to various forms of street and traditional Vietnamese art every weekend starting this Saturday. The new program, which is called Ho Chi Minh City Street Show, will debut on May the 13th and will happen from 8 to 9 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday night along the promenade. World-famous music will be performed using Vietnamese traditional instruments. Artists will also perform Vietnamese traditional dances with drums played over EDM music. Ho Chi Minh City Street Show will be a fusion of international contemporary art and Vietnamese traditional art. 6 different stages will be erected along the pedestrian street. All activities of the program are privately funded according to the tourism department. Design is a broad term referring to the act of creativity and innovation, which usually brings a completely new look to an object. Inspired by the familiar household items, recently the 2 artists Lê Thích Cương and Đinh Công Đạt have introduced an exhibition called Do Design to show the power of design in changing the looks of normal objects. Let's find out more about this in this week's edition of Culture and Lifestyle.
These armchairs were designed by artist Đinh Công Đạt. To create a strong impression for viewers, Đạt has combined traditional and modern elements in the familiar chairs.
Tôi đặt một cái rất hiện đại, màu rất hiện đại, rất là của ngày hôm nay và một cái thiết kế rất là cũ, thậm chí trên một đồ vật đã dùng rồi, đã rất cũ rồi. Thì nó cùng lúc nó có rất nhiều cái câu chuyện ở trên cái ghế. Nhất là cái màu, ai cũng nghĩ là cái màu nó rất hiện đại nhưng bản chất thì không phải. Cái màu hồng này thì là ở trong nghề chúng tôi thì cái màu hồng này là bọn tôi gọi là phẩm mặt trời. Khi mà nói đến màu phẩm có nghĩa là cái màu này có hàng trăm năm rồi. Màu không hiện đại, cách làm không hiện đại, trên một cái ghế không hiện đại nhưng cái quan niệm thôi khác. Những cái mình đặt nó sai đi một tí thôi, đặt nó khác đi một tí thôi thì tạo ra được cái hiệu quả này.
Besides armchairs, other items by Đinh Công Đạt in the dual design exhibition are also familiar housewares, such as these cutting boards and baskets. They are all decorated in a colorful and eye-catching way. Unlike Đinh Công Đạt, the products of the other artists in this exhibition, Lê Thích Cương, are more reticent and simple. Lê Thích Cương is a minimalist, while Đinh Công Đạt is the opposite.
Anh Đạt thích nhiều màu, thích sặc sỡ, thích nhiều chi tiết, hình thù cầu kỳ, rắc rối. Ngược lại tôi thì tối giản. Duo tức là nói chuyện. Trong trường hợp này múa đôi, duo chính là nói chuyện. 2 người nói chuyện với nhau thì phải có lúc có người nói, người nghe, có lúc 2 người cùng tranh luận, thậm chí có lúc 2 người cùng im lặng. Tương phản là để hấp dẫn, để tôn nhau lên chứ không phải là để lấn át nhau.
The works of the 2 artists do converge at one point, the use of design in creating more value for traditional products.
Đây chỉ một triển lãm để nhắc nhở về câu chuyện quan trọng của thiết kế trong ngày hôm nay. Bây giờ bạn đi Bát Tràng, bạn mua một cái lọ lục bình về để trên bàn thờ thì 10 đồng, giả sử. Thì 8 đồng là tiền đất, tiền nhân công, tiền men, tiền ga. Còn có 2 đồng là tiền của cái lọ, của cái thiết kế. Trong khi đáng nhẽ phải ngược lại. Bạn mua cái lọ 10 đồng thì cái tiền đất, tiền công nhân, tiền men, tiền thuốc, tiền ga nó chỉ là 2 thôi. Còn 8 đồng phải là tiền sáng tạo, tiền thiết kế. Thì tất cả các làng nghề không làm được. Những cái gì mà họ đang làm ngày hôm nay là copy cha ông, copy truyền thống. Vẫn cái lọ mà từ thế kỷ 17, 18, vẫn cái lọ tỳ bà ấy, vẫn cái bát chiết yêu ấy, vẫn cái lọ lục bình ấy, vẫn cái hoa văn họa tiết rồng phượng ấy. Còn một số cái mà tôi nhìn thấy mà tôi thích, tôi định mua thì đấy là các công ty của nước ngoài họ đặt Bát Tràng mình làm.
Một cái giỏ này tôi đặt là nghề là 100.000, vì tôi đặt số lượng rất ít, chỉ có vài chục cái thôi. 100.000 một cái giỏ. Nhưng sau khi tôi làm gỗ này, tôi làm sơn nên tôi bán rất là đắt, đến hàng triệu. Như vậy thì cái giá trị của cái đồ vật nó sẽ được tăng lên rất nhiều. Công lao động lúc bấy giờ nó được tăng lên, cái lợi nhuận của người lao động họ có nhiều hơn. Thì cái yếu tố design nó là rất quan trọng ở đây. Rõ ràng là cái sự kết hợp giữa làng làm mây tre, làng làm sơn mài và design đứng ở giữa để kết hợp những cái yếu tố đó là rất quan trọng.
Besides the exhibition, the two artists also had a workshop about design. Through the exhibition and the talk show, the two artists hoped that they can help young generations understand the role of designs in renovating traditional products.
You're tuning into Culture Mosaic, our weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of the nation. We hope to become a bridge that connects artists and their work to our viewers out there. So, you want to continue the journey through various culture scenes in Vietnam? We have a lot more in this week's installment coming up for you in just a moment. Vietnam's tourism ambassador director Jordan Vogt Robert returned to one of the locations used in his smash hit film Kong Skull Island, Halong Bay. Having come to Halong Bay for many times, however, this was the first time the director had a chance to explore this UNESCO World Heritage Site from above. Our reporter Huy Zung joined him for this week's segment of On the Mic.
Just chopper them in and out. Be a joyride.
Halong Bay from above. This is one of the most impressive scenes in the blockbuster movie Kong Skull Island. This is also Halong Bay from above.
One of the most gorgeous scenes here in Vietnam.
Today, however, Kong's director is the main character of the shoot. This is his first time seeing Halong Bay with its panoramic view from his seaplane.
As you might have already guessed, Jordan and I are now in one of the most iconic places here in the country, one of the attractions that a lot of people come to visit when they come to Vietnam. It also happens to be one of the most iconic backdrops to the film Kong Skull Island, and we are here in Halong Bay. Jordan was very much inspired by this place in his film production and also inspired to have a more growing love for Vietnam through places like this. So Jordan, tell us about your first impression when you came to this place.
It was just one of those magical moments when you first land here and you get on a boat and then you just go out into the vastness. You go out and it doesn't stop. And I think there are some places in the world that begin to look sort of like it. You know, like Thailand has elements of it, and there are other places in the world that sort of have shapes like this, but no, I don't think anywhere on the planet actually comes close to truly feeling as expansive and beautiful and full of sort of scope and wonder as Halong Bay does when you land. It's just full of the most incredible shapes and colors, and the sprawl of it, it just sort of washes over you. It takes over you in a way where it's almost this like spiritual experiences. You're just in, you just feel as you're in the midst of nature. Every 30 feet you go in your boat, it's like a brand new and gorgeous location. So it was one of the places that I was aware of before coming here, but once I actually sort of was in a boat with my crew, it was just another one of those reasons to say, guys, we have to shoot here.
How do you think the landscape here in Halong fit into the storyline of Kong Skull Island? Or was it the other way around, that the landscape here inspired the storyline?
For when I was a kid and I would watch movies, I would go and I would see locations on screen that I'd never seen before, and I felt like I was being taken to a new place. I felt like I was being transported, and that was part of what made me fall in love with movies as a kid. And so landing here, coming here, getting on a boat, coming out into this bay, it was just one of those moments where I knew for myself, like, I can transport an audience. I can show them something new with this. And you know, a lot of the development process of Kong actually worked backwards. It was me traveling the world and saying, what locations do I want to take and force into a movie? As opposed to having a script where we said, okay, it needs to meet this. I wanted to approach it really fluidly and say, I want to go to real places and I want to be inspired by them. So I had a wall in my office, like there are pictures of it somewhere.
After the blockbuster, Kong Skull Island hit the big screen. Both domestic and foreign travel companies launched tours to Vietnam, where many of the scenes were filmed. The Department of Tourism in Quang Binh Province has been preparing tours to local filming locations to attract more visitors. In addition, the Quang Ninh Provincial People's Committee has requested the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism to survey and develop tourism products that relate to the movie Kong Skull Island. The province has also coordinated with Ninh Bình and Quang Binh provinces to organize tourism surveys for travel agencies and websites such as FamTrip and PressTrip with the goal of promoting Halong Bay to the world.
With scenery such as Halong Bay quite the crowd pleaser in movies like Kong Skull Island, do you see kind of promoting filming locations as part of Vietnam's tourism agenda?
I think absolutely. That's a big part of it, and that's, you know, what better way than movies for people to experience something new. You know, as soon as we landed here and as soon as I started to fall in love with this country, the goal was always to make something that was as striking and as disruptive and as sort of transformative on screen as when people went to see Lord of the Rings and they saw New Zealand for the first time and you said, wait a second, where is that? You know, I think Vietnam's sort of a similar thing where people all have a preconceived notion of what the country is, what the history of the country is, but I think that there are so many different incredible and vast, textured, beautiful locations filled with incredible people and incredible food. I hope that the people of this country and the government and everyone can all put their heads together to say, how do we make this sustainable?
Film location tours have been popular in many parts of the world. However, in Vietnam, this kind of tour is still very new. After Quang Binh, Ninh Bình was the second province to take advantage of Kong to promote tourism. This film location is on tour number 2 of the Chang'an tours being offered. Visitors take a boat ride through 4 caves, Suối Tiên Temple and the Hành Cung Vũ Lâm before landing at the Aboriginal village. The villagers' costumes and props were designed to match what people see in the movie.
I like that there are these actors around with the body paint and the whole dress up. It's really interesting. Now that we're going to watch the movie, maybe tomorrow, we've seen everything and then we will know what it looks like around and what it actually feels like to be there.
Những cái tàu, những cái nhà của thổ dân này ấy, thì nó tạo hình ảnh cho khách. Khách đi đâu thì thích có cái ảnh nó lạ lạ.
Taking advantage of famous film locations is expected to become a new way to boost tourism in Vietnam.
Một trong những cái giải pháp mà chúng tôi quảng bá và thu hút khách đó là tạo ra một cái điểm nhấn mới, đó là cái phim trường của Tràng An. Phần lớn cái bối cảnh quay của trong bộ phim Đảo Đầu Lâu thì được quay tại Tràng An và một phần nữa thì được quay tại khu vực bảo tồn thiên nhiên đất ngập nước Quân Long. Thì đấy là những cái địa điểm mà chúng tôi sẽ kết hợp lại để tạo nên những điểm nhấn mới cho du lịch Ninh Bình trong thời gian tới.
With your experience kind of shooting in other filming locations in the world, where do you see kind of Vietnam going, you know, with kind of promoting filming locations here in the country? What can the country do in order to speed up that process?
I mean, I think there's so many things that go into that, and part of it is time, but already with what we did with Kong, we've sort of now broken down a bunch of barriers with the help of the government and with the help of the Film Commission and so many people to make that a reality. And I think that there's a lot of ways that can grow and that can develop where more films come here. And there are a lot of things that we had to go through to do that, and hopefully that sort of paved a path and made it easier for films in the future. But I think another really important key element is supporting the local artists here. The more that the local artists here and the local filmmakers and singers and writers and artists, the more that they create a disruptive wave of their art and send it out to the world. It's a multi-pronged and layered process of like supporting the local industry here, having them feel like they have a voice that can travel out to the world so people know about what's happening here, and then just being able to bring other artists here so that they see it and fall in love with it the way I did.
As the tourism ambassador now of Vietnam, what do you propose to do in this field in terms of promoting more Vietnam as a future filming locations for filming industry in the world?
I'm working with the government right now to bring other filmmakers, friends of mine, colleagues, producers, writers, talent. I want to bring people to Vietnam. Partially as just a trip to say, look how beautiful this place is. If you love it, post about it on social media. If you write a story about it for a magazine, and then to be able to go back to their industry and say, we need to shoot something here, because it's one thing to see a picture. It's a completely different thing to stand here and be 100 feet away from that. I'm even working with them on a project to go and shoot like an advertisement for Vietnam.
Thank you very much for joining our show.
J.K. Rowling's book Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the first novel in the Harry Potter series, was published in the UK in June 1997. 20 years on, the ever-popular series continues to enchant readers of all ages and resonates with new readers all over the world. To mark the 20th anniversary of the Harry Potter series, many Potter-related events and activities were held across the globe, including Vietnam. Let's learn more about the Harry Potter community in Vietnam and how they're celebrating the 20th anniversary in this week's Connecting Cultures.
Hanoi's Book Street. In the middle of the street, there's a group of youngsters wearing coats, scarves, riding broomstick and armed with magic wands. They are Harry Potter fans. They are recreating the magical life depicted in the famous books, from the famous platform 9 3/4, where Harry Potter takes the train to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, to their suitcases and their talking sorting hat.
Cái bộ truyện này nó nói về được nó nói lên được cái sự tưởng tượng của con người với những cái thứ về phép thuật như này nó rất là hay ạ. Kiểu như là cái sự sáng tạo của con người nó không có giới hạn và nó lồng ghép vào đấy, nó còn kể thêm về cả tình bạn, xong rồi gia đình và sự chia sẻ. Sự dũng cảm, kiểu em cảm thấy như là đây là cái bộ truyện đã truyền rất nhiều cảm hứng cho em và nó gần như là kéo em theo luôn về những cái bắt đầu đọc sách ấy ạ. Trước đây em không đọc sách mấy đâu, nhưng mà sau khi xem Harry Potter và đọc Harry Potter thì em cảm thấy như là nếu như mà không tiếp xúc với cả những cái văn học như thế này thì mình sẽ không thể nào thay đổi được thành một con người tốt hơn ấy.
Harry Potter is a series of novels by J.K. Rowling. It is about a young boy named Harry Potter and the adventures he has with his friends Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley, all of whom are students at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. They learn to perform magic and defeat their enemy, Lord Voldemort. Harry Potter is popular around the world. The book has been published in over 70 languages. It was also turned into a musical, a theme park, and in 2001, the first Harry Potter movie came out, kicking off a series of films that were huge successes.
I'm proud to say that I'm perfectly magical. Doesn't this sound familiar, Harry Potter fans out there? This is the very first line in the first Harry Potter book series, with only a bit of a twist. And this is also the slogan of Hogwarts School Vietnam, in celebration of Harry Potter's 20th anniversary.
Hogwarts Vietnam is one of the biggest Harry Potter communities in Vietnam. Formed in 2012, it is where Harry Potter fans meet and share their love for the books with other fans. Along with the British Embassy, the British Council and Youth Publishing House, Hogwarts Vietnam is the fourth co-organizer of the event that celebrates 20 years of Harry Potter. All the works to welcome visitors such as banners, graphic designs, broomstick, and the 9 3/4 platform wall were all handmade by Hogwarts Vietnam volunteers and members. Members of the group get together and hold events and competitions, both online and offline, to discuss books and mingle with other fans.
Thì trước bọn mình có cái diễn đàn. Trên cái diễn đàn đó, cái mục đích hoạt động của bọn mình là qua Harry Potter thì không chỉ là một cái nơi để mọi người bàn luận giống như các cái diễn đàn khác mà liên quan đến fan Harry Potter, mà bọn mình thậm chí còn muốn thay đổi nhận thức cho các bạn fan trẻ ở Việt Nam. Bọn mình hướng dẫn các bạn ý cách tìm tòi, cách viết luận, cách dịch bài, cách tìm hiểu, cách nghiên cứu và thậm chí là cả sáng tác truyện.
Sharing the same passion and love for Harry Potter, Vân found her special someone who accompanies her at Hogwarts Vietnam's activities and is also the captain of Hanoi's Quidditch team, the Draco Dormans, or Sleeping Dragons. Quidditch is a sport from Harry Potter, which is being played in real life in many countries. Members of Hanoi's Quidditch team Draco Dormans practice regularly, preparing for the July's Asian Quidditch Cup that's held in Vietnam.
Trước khi chơi Quidditch, mình là fan cứng của bóng đá. Mình không nghĩ môn gì có thể dễ chơi và lại có thể phổ biến được như bóng đá và lại có thể gây nghiện được hơn bóng đá. Tuy nhiên, sau một thời gian chơi Quidditch, mình thành lập đội được 3 tháng thì mình may mắn được một trường ở Anh nhận học. Mình sang bên đấy mình được tiếp xúc với một cái cộng đồng chơi Quidditch ở Anh. Sau mình cảm thấy đây là một cái cộng đồng tuyệt vời nhất thế giới mình từng chơi. Và các cái nó mở mang cái mindset của mình rất là nhiều. Đấy, và sau khi chơi một thời gian thì mình hoàn toàn bị nghiện môn này.
It's been 20 years since the first Harry Potter book was published. While the book may be fiction, the educational, cultural and ethical values it's brought to people have moved beyond their pages and into the real world.
And that is the end of our programme. If you would like to provide feedback or comment on anything here on Culture Mosaic, please feel free to write us at vtvinternational@vtv.vn and make sure to include your name and address. You can also log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for more of our programmes. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Bye for now.